Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech, but otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet, and today I want to talk about every Apple device stolen from the Apple Store in downtown Los Angeles is sounding an alarm and saying it should be returned. Now, this is kind of like some of the stuff we've seen happening during the George Floyd riots and protests. We have people who want to protest peacefully, and then we have people bringing it all to hell. And the people bringing it all to hell, oh wait, what do these say? Please return to Apple, yada yada. This device has been disabled and is yada yada. That's interesting. I'm kind of wondering how they ended up here on the streets. But as locked, authorities will be alerted. Oh, wow. Huh. That's interesting. That's interesting. So, as we've seen during the George Floyd riots, people taking things one step further and using riots as a way to benefit themselves. And let's face it, we got a lot of that kind of stuff going on in commerce, going on in, well, the people who do things legally. Let's face it. But this isn't the way. This is not the way. Absolutely not. We shouldn't be stealing things this way. We shouldn't be breaking and entering. But this stuff is happening more and more all over the place. So I'm noticing that the George Floyd riots were definitely a bigger deal than these ICE raids. Now, what we got going on is a lot of people being upset with ICE taking away immigrants, illegal immigrants from the countries. But the thing is, if you don't believe in the law systems, you're basically an anarchist. And I am concerned about the level of integrity of some of these illegal immigrants. So you get some illegal immigrants that are just, they don't do anything. They work really hard. They don't cause a scene. They don't get into drugs. They don't do drugs. They're not into violence. They're not into any of that stuff. And then you get other ones that come in and they want to game the system. They want to sell drugs and be very mean to the people living in the country. Damn, the air message works in both portrait and landscape. Funny stuff. Now, you can't hear it, but those things are going off like frickin' crazy. So Apple has the ability to identify and turn off any phone pretty much. And since phones are so damn expensive, you bet your arse they're going to know where all of these things are. Now, I bet you any money that all of those phones, even though they've been taken out of the packages, are going to be repackaged and sold as new. I've seen it happen before. I had a friend when I worked in IT, and his wife ordered a new phone, and when she checked the battery, she found out that the battery, it was a used phone ultimately, that was repackaged, it seems. Legit, I don't understand why they didn't just destroy the phones. I don't understand why they brought them back. But maybe there's hope in this whole situation because of that. If the protesters were really concerned about the society that they were in, they'd call out these people who were destroying the Apple building. Apple likes to think different. It's very left-leaning. Let's face it. Why would you go after them? Yeah, here we go. They don't learn at all. Why would they even steal them? They didn't learn last time. Apple just bricked them. Of course, Apple knows where all these things are. They got a GPS on them. They can tell. That's interesting. This guy says, I know those dodgy repair places that you could take your phones to in order to get them chop-shopped, basically. Now maybe they'll only pay about 10 or 20 bucks. It's getting harder and harder. Apple is noticing if you have the incorrect parts, and they are shutting phones down for that. And here's the line. Only dumbasses steal iPhones from Apple Store. Like, seriously. Now here you can see a real IT goon. No, nothing's ever good enough. Nothing's ever right. As an IT professional that's worked in telecoms and security sectors for over 20 years, why the hell weren't those alarms sounding from the moment the devices were stolen? Also, is that the crazy, beautiful Apple Store on Broadway? Used to be a theater. They did such a good job keeping the old school cool of that building. Doesn't make up for this stupid. Okay. How is Apple supposed to know the moment they were stolen? Everyone was asleep. A lot of this stuff happens after hours, but here you can see your IT guy blaming or just going on a rant about blaming other people. It just, you, there you go. Well, this is interesting. Ex-employee here. The alarm starts going off when disconnected from Apple's Wi-Fi. Looting. Ugh. Now that's the thing. If we have protesters out there who are protesting for the better of mankind, for the better of the community, I think everyone involved can agree that this level of anarchy isn't good for anybody. It isn't good at all. Like, if you wanted punitive damage, that's one thing. Maybe smash the window, move on. But smash, grab, steal makes everybody look bad. And it's really disappointing. I'm glad that Apple managed to get their phones back. And I wonder if Androids would do about the same thing. Now I'm starting to wonder if that's an Apple store right there. And they literally just got off the Wi-Fi and they just dropped the phones. Really though, yeah, I see phones in the background. Why would anybody? Why would you do this? You're just looking for trouble, legit. This is funny. Cell phones are just the type of thing you really shouldn't steal anymore. Not worth the effort. Unbricking a stolen phone is a mighty task. Yeah, it is. I have phones that I've forgotten the password to, and I just tossed them. I just frickin' tossed. It was like an iPhone 6, right? And if I forgot the password, I don't even care about trying to figure out and, getting whatever sent back. Just toss those things. They're all over the place. So now I want to talk about the technology. Sorry, I should move my breakfast. So now I want to talk about what goes on behind the scenes, why we're having this problem. The immigration in the States is broken. Eli, the computer guy, was talking about when he was working in Seattle and he was working for a pizza place and talking to an illegal immigrant who either was getting in or did get in. And he said, if you want to get in, you have to be in the country for like 10 years and you have to pay taxes. There's a way to pay taxes even if you're there, even if you're not supposed to be there. And once you're there for so long, you basically get in. These people have a lot of kids, and the Democrats, I think those are the ones on the left, right? Up here we call them conservative and liberals. So let's say the liberals, the Democrats, I believe, get the votes. And all that they want is the votes, and it's kind of sad. But the people who are in only want to have the politicians only want their job. It strongly seems like they're not particularly interested in the society that they are supposed to protect. For example, in Canada, they're more interested in the baby boomers. And the baby boomers want housing prices to be the same always. We can't have that. We have situations going on where the kids can't get houses. Maybe they can get rent, but rent's going to be about 50% of the pay when it should only be about 35%. And these days, that's like two people. You have to have two people, and one person's money is basically going just to the house, and that's not even a car. A car is something else altogether. And the boomers, they like it this way. They got their houses, they got all their things, they want to go into retirement. Odds are that they don't have enough money saved, so they're going to put more towards that. So everyone keeps going with the liberals, but in that we have a version of hell for the younger folks, but nobody really cares, right? So it's unfortunate, but our politicians only do things for the people that get them in or help them themselves. But isn't that just the way things go? Seriously, isn't that just kind of human nature? This is a perfect example of why the people on the left also are only interested in themselves, just like all politicians. They want what they want, screw everybody else, and there's some heartbreaking realities to that. But anyways, thanks for listening to me, guys. Once again, I'm Nef from That's Tech Bits. Take care of each other, please. Have a good one.